Hello, everyone. It's David, live from Granada yet again for what I think is week 9. So it's been a good week and a half since my last update. Sorry about that. Things have been kind of slow, although I'm pretty sure that, as I always do, I'll manage to fill up the 10 minutes that I'm supposed to fill up on these weekly things. So last weekend I ended up not going to Cadiz. The plan was that I was going to rent a car, drive down there with some people, and as it turned out, it's astronomical to rent an automatic transmission car here. So I figured I'd try manual and either give it a shot and like learn how to do it, or at very least rent it and drive around the parking lot. It was like 30 euros for 4 days, so it was really, really a good deal. I ended up not going because it's a lot harder than one would think. Mind you, I did make it to and from Granada and probably spent like a good 2 hours on the road getting experience practicing and stuff with that. The upside was driving again through highways and through the scenic Spanish countryside, and actually realizing that, if I had a solid week to do this, I could probably figure out how to drive manual pretty well. The downside was when I kind of like panicked and ended up getting stuck at a red light for a good 5 minutes before a good Samaritan kind of helped me out. So pretty embarrassing, but definitely some steps into finally learning how to drive a manual transmission. So if I don't have the chance to figure out a way to keep doing it here, hopefully I'll be able to go home and someone will teach me back there. Last Thursday, I went up with a friend to the mountains, which was really fun. We ended up getting lost, so I went up there expecting to be there for 2 hours and didn't really put on a lot of sunblocks, and it was sunny out, but I figured, hey, 2 hours I'm not going to burn. We got lost and went all the way off the mountain, came all the way back down the mountain, wandered through a couple of olive groves. I took some good pictures, which I'll post soon, but I ended up getting really, really badly sunburned. On my arms, which wasn't a big deal, and also on my neck, which is pretty bad. I'm actually peeling there for the second subsequent day to give you an idea of how bad the sunburn was. The nice thing is, I think after years of being burnt every summer on my arms and on my neck, there's not really a lot of like pain neurons left, so it doesn't hurt as much as it would have if I had got my back or, I don't know, stomach or who knows what. But I'm going to post some pictures of that. It's really, really impressive. The mountains down here are different from how they were around Madrid, where they're all granite. Like here, they're sedimentary rock and things like that. So it's really a great view. It was cool. Like every time we got from one peak to another, or turned a corner or whatever, it was a different landscape. So very impressive. I don't know. It was a great time. It was a great time. I'll post pictures soon. I finally have a date picked out for my test. For better or worse, it's going to be March 19th, and we'll see how it goes. Lately, the writing assignments that I've done, I've only made like a handful of major mistakes on, at least mistakes that I think the powers that be will be looking for. So I'm a bit more optimistic about again, not passing, but maybe provisionally passing, or at least getting a pat on the back that says, look, you've improved in the time that you've been there, and we're pretty optimistic about you being ready to come home in June. So there's that. I took last week off to do cardio, went for another Saturday night run at 10 o'clock along the river, which was just great. Listened to more Justin Timberlake, and actually managed to drop my time down to 27 minutes for a 5K, which is not great, I'm sure. I know for a fact that I have friends on Facebook that run it in substantially less than I do, but hey, still a step in the right direction. This week I've gotten back to the gym, lifting again, which is going good. I'm going to a different gym, which is a bit further away. It has better equipment, but somewhat to my surprise, I've noticed that even when I go in for the morning hours, there's still a lot more people there. So I signed up for a month. We'll see how it goes. I might switch back to my old one if I don't like this one. But the equipment is better, so that is kind of nice. And the ambiance overall is just kind of cool. Like there's a lot of people who are really energetic and really into it. So I also have another test on March 17th for the grammar course that I'm taking. I'm a bit more optimistic about that, although that one's just going to be kind of like a ton of rote memorization which, given that I've been dividing my time between reviewing stuff from the Orange Book and the Red Notebook and reviewing things for that class, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. I've still got a bit less than a week to study for it, and I will study. But again, there's no stakes with that one. It's stuff that I want to know and stuff I want to walk away from. But on the other hand, if I do well or don't do well in the test, I don't know that it'll, really affect me too well. The test on the 19th is the one that I really have to prepare for. A new addition to my diet this week has been gazpacho, which you may or may not know is this cold tomato-based vegetable soup that they serve here in Spain. Basically, you take a cucumber, onion, some garlic, tomato, vinegar, olive oil, and there's another major, I think carrots too. Carrots, celery, stuff like that. Put it all into a blender, liquefy it, and drink it cold for those warm summer days. So that sounds like a lot of work, but I found that the grocery store one of the grocery stores I usually shop at, sells it by the liter for I think just like €1.50. So it's a pretty good deal. So cool thing about Spain, it's very easy to get a reasonable quota of vegetables in on a daily basis without having to do a whole lot of work, I guess. Gazpacho is good. Gazpacho is very good. Quite tasty. I like it. And I'm glancing over my notes to see what else. Short, pointless beard update. I'm pretty sure that this part here and this part here is just not going to fill in. I'm going to keep growing it until at least I come back in June, because, what else do you do? And I've invested this much effort in it that I just might as well keep it going. And it actually looks better than I'm seeing how it looks here on the camera. But Monday was kind of a low point beard-wise where I decided that it just wasn't going to fill out. But curiously enough, and again, not obvious on my low-resolution camera, but it filled out like a little bit here, I noticed. So maybe the fight's not over yet. It was actually kind of spring-like on Monday. I made it to school just wearing a t-shirt. But since it's kind of cooled off and I'm back to wearing a coat as well as either a second shirt on top of this one or just like a full-blown sweater. So, c'est la vie. I'm glad though, from what I've been seeing on Facebook and other things, it seems like signs of spring are there in Chicago and Milwaukee and Sackville. So that's good. I'm glad that you guys are finally getting out of what seems to be the worst winter ever. Beyond that, this is going to be kind of a shorter entry, as I said, because again, not much was going on. Like this weekend was kind of like largely predominated with getting the car, practicing driving the car, and trying to figure out how I'd end up returning the car. All of which, praise God, went a lot smoother than I expected. Today I replaced a light bulb in the kitchen, which didn't work. So then I replaced the ballast in the fluorescent fixture, and that didn't work. So I guess there's an issue with the fixture. I contacted the landlord. I also unclogged the drain in the bathroom. So, plenty of home improvement stuff to keep me busy here. And, then the last thing that I wanted to mention was, I might have actually mentioned this last time, but I've given some thought to switching out of this course. I've mentioned in previous entries that I like it, but it gives me more time to study for myself, and I notice that when I'm sort of left to my own devices, I tend to do a lot less production and a lot more of just reviewing of rules and structures and sentences and useful words that I kind of want to internalize. But it would be good for me to get into something where I'm producing and also getting feedback in a bit more in a more faithful manner. So I've been thinking about switching to this intensive course, which is for the DELA, I forget which, but it's this course to test Spanish proficiency. So if you get it, then it proves to the power, whoever's interested in Spain, that you do indeed speak Spanish well enough to, to survive or to function in a industry or a business type environment. So I probably won't actually take the test because I think it's a bit on the expensive time though. The secretary that I was talking to said that, hey, it'll come in handy. But the course itself sounds like it would be good, and if it gets me it meets 4 hours a week, Oh, sorry, 4 hours a day rather, 5 days a week. So be more intensive than what I'm doing now, which I think is good. And the test itself does have an oral component. It does have a written component. So I'm pretty sure those are all things that they go over in class and really, really kind of hammer pretty hard. The thing is, it started like, gosh, a month ago. So I'm a little optimistic, but I had the chance to petition to the dean, which I plan to do. Write up my little petition, get it checked over, and turn it in either in what's left of today, which isn't terribly much, or tomorrow. So that's pretty much all of that. Again, the hope is that once I get the test over and get some sign that I'm in the right direction, that I'll be able to do a bit more traveling or see a movie or do something a bit more a bit more on the fun side. Um, we'll see how it goes though. As things stand, things are going pretty well. Happy to be lifting. Happy to have had the chance to drive and to gotten into the mountains for a bit. And regardless of what happens on the test, I'm optimistic that I've at least personally made some steps to improving how I speak and how I write. So there's all that. Miss you. Love you all. Thank you all for writing me. It's wonderful to hear from you. Happy birthday to Dad, who's probably going to be getting this a day late. Happy birthday to Matthew, who might be getting this a day early if I end up posting it tomorrow. And I don't know what either of you want for your birthday, so I might just get you both Kindles because I really want a Kindle right now. But send me suggestions and I'll see what I can do. So, this is David, signing off.
¿Qué? ¿Tú qué?
¿Sabes lo que es tocayo?
No.
Una persona que se llama como yo.
Ah, ¿de verdad? Curioso, no tenemos una palabra en inglés para esto.
Nosotros sí. Tocayo o tocayo.